Hints and tips on the stove. First of all, you never use any metal pokers or utensils there. I use a piece of kindling and just move the ashes around. It's been cleaned already. It's not going to be very dramatic. And that goes through to the ash pan. And you can see it falls through. Usually good for 3 or even 4 fires sometimes. Now, to start the lighting, I pick out, I guess you'd say, medium piece of wood. This is one method. They tell you another method in the manual, and other people have other methods. The top-down method, the bottom-up method. And I've chosen this method because I can ignore the stove for long periods of time without ever having to worry about it overheating or going out. Anyway, so I'm gonna pause the video here and put some of my burning stuff in and then come back again. There we go. Okay, I use a lot of cardboard because we have a lot of cardboard around. Birch bark is great. Paper is good, but you have to stick around to make sure that it's actually taking. And I take a couple of pieces of kindling here and make myself a base. And a few more pieces, kind of making a little house. What's the point of burning something if you can't burn something down? And altogether, about 6 pieces of kindling, like that, so it'll burn up nicely through there. And then I just start putting my wood in, slightly smaller pieces first. Oops. And another one in back. Opening the top up, you have to make sure that your damper is open here. You use that tool, don't lose that, or you're going to be up shit creek. You can buy a new handle and elbow there. It costs a fortune and it'll probably break again anyway. So another larger piece, and looking at it from both ways, we're just about ready for ignition, which will happen later. There we go. That's a good coverage of the setup. It's now time to start the fire. What we have to do is open the air vent all the way. The damper is open, we opened that earlier, and I use a torch. But you're going to go through a lot of matches. My last bottle of gas lasted me about 5 or 6 years, and that's with doing some plumbing in the meantime too. So you can hear it crackling already. So we close the door. And that's all there is to it, because you can see that it's catching already, and we start waiting. So we leave the air intake all the way open for a while until it looks like everything is caught. Now, for the next half hour or so, we keep an eye on, first of all, the stovetop. You won't want the stovetop to hit somewhere around 500 degrees. and then we close the damper. But we also have to keep an eye up here on this kink in the pipe here, the bend there, and if that goes above 300 degrees, you're going to start getting a smell in the house. And you can avoid that by turning the air down if it starts flaring up too much. That particular problem has been on the forums for years and years, and nobody has discovered the fact that it only happens when you have a bend in the pipe before it goes outside. And what is happening is your extremely hot flue gases are going directly up to here and then hitting that spot as they're redirected. So that's what causes the smell. If you avoid that, then you avoid the smell. Anyway, I'll come back in about a half an hour or so and show you what's happening. This is about 5 minutes later, and as you can see, it's going full tilt here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna move the air vent to what's called the high position. This is the begin position, and then you come back here and there's a click. That's where you move it to. If it starts getting too hot on top, we'll have to move it a little bit farther over to the left, but we'll leave it there for now. Okay, here we are at just about 500 degrees. So we're going to come down here, open the draft all the way, and then come over here with our special tool. There we go. And close the damper. Oops, I didn't have that done. So you pull it towards you until it sticks. You don't want it to click or anything like that. Okay, now you're good for a couple hours probably. That's usually all we burn one night. If you want to refill it again later on, you have to open the damper, open the draft, and then put your wood in. Make sure that the stove comes back up to 500 again before you close the damper. But otherwise, everything should go very smoothly.